Hey, what's up guys, this is TPC A.K.A TheProgrammingCuber, and welcome to my end of 2016 cube collection. So I know I missed last year and I'm sorry for that, but this year it's actually here. So first of all, huge thank you to the cubicle.us. Now you may be wondering why, because this isn't an unboxing or a review, but they pretty much provided me with half my collection, probably more than half of my collection, because I would buy from them before I started up my YouTube channel, and then after my YouTube channel started getting big and they let me test cubes, now I have a ton of tested products, so probably more than half my collection is puzzles from them. So huge thank you to them for basically making this collection what it is now. And this collection is a total of 134 puzzles, which is ridiculous. And yeah, so let's just get started. So we're going to start with the largest N by N, so we're going to start with WCA. So I'm going to start with my 7x7s. I have two of them. This is a regular size Shangshao. It's pretty clunky and doesn't really turn that well. And yeah, so it's not the greatest 7x7 out there. But here is the Yushin 7x7, and this turns really well. And it's probably one of the best, competing with the Yaofu GT. Next we have my 6x6s, and I have two of these as well. Here is a Shangshao one. Again, kind of clunky, and not super great. Bit clicky, kind of weird. Yeah, honestly not great. It turns pretty stiffly. And here's a Yushin 6x6. It's alright, but I never made it. Yeah, see, it has a lot of problems like that because I never really worked on it much because I don't do 6x6 at all. So yeah, it's supposed to be a good 6x6, but I just haven't done anything to it. And next we have 5x5s, which surprisingly I have a lot of. The first one I got was this Shangshao, regular Shangshao 5x5. It's actually pretty decent. It's not terrible, but it definitely doesn't compare to today's 5x5s. And it's also one of the first cubes I ever restickered with CubeSmith stickers. Here we have a Shangshao Wind 5x5. This one is much better than the original, but still doesn't quite keep up with the 5x5 these days. Here we have, I totally forgot the name actually, I'll put it up on the screen. It's one of the budget 5x5s, I think from Moyu or YJ, either way. But yeah, it's pretty decent actually. It feels kind of like a Huachong, which I don't have, but here we have a Yushin 5x5 with like some weird springs inside of it because I sacrificed these springs for my Yushin 6x6. And yeah, I mean, it's a really nice 5x5 still. And then here we have the MF5S, which is also pretty decent 5x5. It's a budget cube. And yeah, and my current 5x5 main actually, which even though I don't do 5x5, is the Bochuang, but that's going to come along later in a different set of things. Moving on to 4x4s, I have 5 of these as well. Here we have actually I have 6, but the other one is coming later. Here is the old Shangshao, which I actually got fully lubed and serviced at the cubicle desk at Princeton Winter 2014. And yeah, but so it's actually pretty good, but definitely doesn't compare nowadays. Here's the second 4x4 I ever got. It's a No-Yu-Aosu. Still a great cube, but not my main currently. Here's a Yushin 4x4. Decent cube, has some of its problems, you know, with the middle layers versus outer layers and such, but yeah. Here's the Yushin Blue 4x4. Oh my god, focus camera. Huge step up from this 4x4, but the only issue I have with it is it's a bit slow. Other than that, it's a great 4x4. And here's my current main, which is the Chi Wuche 4x4. I mean, it's an all-around great 4x4. I just released a video on this, so you can watch that. So now it's time for 3x3s. This is gonna take a while. Starting with, of course, the OG. Here's the Diane Zanchi stickerless. Served me well for a very long time. Of course, I mean, it sort of holds up with speed cubes now, but honestly, it's not the greatest thing out there, but still definitely a sentimental cube for me because it was my first ever speed cube. So next we have the Moyu Weilong, mini Moyu Weilong. This was, I believe, like my third speed cube or something like that. I don't know why I'm doing this out of order. This is my second speed cube, but yeah, so this I believe I got in Princeton Winter. I turned it into a Maraca cube by taking out the torpedoes and putting them into the pieces, but yeah, it's still actually a decent-ish cube, but I over-lubed it a long time ago and never bothered fixing it. Here is the Feng Shui Shuang Around Illusion cube. This was my main for quite a long time. DJ and I had the same main, and yeah, I used this for a while. This is my first competition legal, because stickerless wasn't legal at the time, but now it is. This is my first competition legal speed cube. And this served me well. Here we have a 50mm Zanchi. I don't remember when I got this, but yeah, pretty self-explanatory. This, I believe, is a Guanlong, just random cube thrown in there. And then here we have the Dian Tyan, which is the first cube Dian ever released. I got it as a novelty, kind of fun to have around, pops a lot though. So these cubes are barely in order because next we have the Aolon V2, which definitely was not the next cube that came out. But this one has letters on it from when I was learning blind. I don't know if I still remember blind actually. I got a success at nationals and that's all I really wanted was a competition success. So I don't know if I'll keep up with it in practice. Here we have the CX3S, which is, I've been trying to get rid of this actually. I kept trying to sell it, but I kind of gave up after a while. Here we have the Tanglong, I believe. Yes, this is a Tanglong. And it's a decent cube, but wasn't a huge fan of it ever. This would be a Thunderclap. Yeah, not much to say. It's a Thunderclap. Great cube. And then here we have a Moyu Hualong, which, you know, we know for Adam the Rubik's Cube, he loves the Hualong. Yeah, bear with me, these cubes are completely out of order. So this is the X-Man Tornado. It's an alright 3x3. Again, wasn't really a fan of this one either. Mei Ying was my main for a while. This is a great cube. And I have here the premium version. This was my main actually. This was never my main, but the premium one was my main for quite a long time actually. And I still think the Mei Ying was probably one of the most underrated 3x3s. Here we have an Aolon GT. This was my main for a very brief period of time, although I did get my first sub 12 average on it at Liberty Science, but other than that, it's an cube, kind of sluggish now. Here's the Yushin 3x3. This was also my main for a brief period of time before, I don't know what I switched to after, but it's a good cube though. And yeah, you can tell these are really out of order because next I have the Moyu Dianma. I think you guys know the story with this cube. It was probably one of the biggest flops from Moyu ever. Right, so next we have two Rubik's brand 3x3s. I mean, they are what you see. They're the new 2.0 Rubik's brands that are not very good. Then we have the Feng Shui, I don't even remember what this is called. They're the Feng Shui second 3x3 or whatever. It's that weird one with the indents on the stickers. Transparent stickerless Yulong. This looks pretty sick, and it's a decent cube as well. And now we have all my Gans cubes. Not enough to make cubing with Mikai jealous, but there's still a decent amount. Here's my 357. This was my main for a bit, I think. But yeah, it's a really nice cube, and this is the cube that got Daniel Goodman into the 357. Here we have my 356S with my weird quarter logo, my logo mixed with the Gans logo. Credits to Dan Pashtushkov. And then here we have the cubing with Mikai Gans thing. He has the black one with the white internals, so he sold me the white one with the black internals, and it looks pretty sick. Here we have a Gans 356 SV2 that Gans sent me, along with this Gans 356 Air. As you know, I gave away my other 356 Air, and that person actually uploaded an unboxing of it, so I'll link it in the description below. Now we have some more miscellaneous puzzles. Here we have a M3, Moja M3, kind of a not so special cube. And while this is here, I also do have the Chufeng, but I gave that to my dad so that he could learn how to solve a 3x3. So that's technically his and technically not part of my collection anymore. Here we have a Gorgon Yurxiao. This was one of my favorite cubes for a while. This is my blind main because it's stable and I know exactly how far I'm turning, and it also turns really well. Here's the Chi Big Sail. I don't do feet, so I don't use this for feet. It's just kind of a novelty for me right now, but it's kind of a cool cube. Next is a new cube that I actually haven't shown yet, which is the Chi Warrior W. Well, I showed it on my live stream where I showed all those cubes, but yeah, this is an interesting puzzle. I think Crazy Bad Cuber did a video on it, but it's like a budget 3x3, and it turns out right. It also has a different Chi logo than most of them. Here we have a mini Owl-Long. This is my OH main right now. I suck at OH, but it is. I've got two Wayland GTSs. This is the first one I got that I basically fell in love with, and here's the one that I got that's the primary internals with black caps. And then, you can tell this is very out of order. We have two cubes very near and dear to my heart. My Owl-Long V1s. So we have one in white, which I got because I wanted another Owl-Long V1. But yeah. And then we have one. This is the original. This was my old Owl-Long version 1. That was my main for like an entire year, maybe like a year and a half. Still love this cube. It turns so smoothly. It's such a pleasure to turn, but usually I just kind of keep it in the stand and don't touch it. And now here we hit the recent stuff. Here's my first Valk 3 that I was sent. This is a really nice cube. The Valk 3 was my main for a bit, and it's now my backup main. And then here we have a premium Valk 3. Premium GANS 356 Air, which is a really nice cube. And of course my main 3x3, the Wayland GTS M. Still wanting a Valk M though, but yeah. Wayland GTS M is a really great cube. And finally, rounding out the 3x3s pretty much are my little ones. So we have the 42mm Diane Zanchi. Then we have the little Yushin keychain, which I took off the keychain. Well, actually, the keychain broke, but yeah. We have this little Maru mini 3x3. She's decently turning. We have this Rubik's mini 3x3, which is pretty bad, but what can you do? And then we have this little guy right here. This is the Maru Nano Cube. And it is a really cute puzzle. Alright, moving on now to my 2x2s. Let's start with this Diane. Oh wait. Yeah, this is just the empty shell of a Diane 2x2 because I made that mod with it. So, yeah, that's kind of a troll 2x2. Don't worry, I didn't count this as a puzzle in my final puzzle count. Here we have the OG 55mm Fangshi Schwagran or Fangshi, I forgot, 2x2. Forgot the name of it. But this is the 2x2 that got me yelled at so many times because they were like, why would you use a 2x2 that big? And I wonder that myself today. But this was my main for a very long time, and I don't know, it's because I thought I had really big hands and couldn't use a small 2x2, and yeah. We have the Moyu Lingpo. This was my main for a while, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Oh, actually, that's not the Lingpo. I think this is a Weipo. I'm dumb, this is a Lingpo. Yeah, there we go. I was wondering why it didn't feel right. So here's my Moyu Lingpo. This is my main for a while. We have this Chi Cavs 2x2. Never my main. It's like a budget 2x2, I think. And now here we have the Weipo 2x2. It was my main for a bit. Yushin White, also my main for a bit. Very nice 2x2 actually, super smooth. Then we have the MF2S, which is a great 2x2 actually. It feels really nice, but I don't know if you can speed solve it that well because it's so uncontrollable. And I also have the the Kung Fu 2x2, but my dad again took that to learn how to solve 2x2, which he actually did. And here's my current main, the Guoguan, forgot the name again. I don't remember the names of any of these, there's so many. The Guoguan 2x2. There's only one, so Guoguan. And yeah, this is my current main because it's just so fluid, it's good. Really nice 2x2. In terms of 3x3s, I actually completely forgot about these. These were originally, well, this right here, it was supposed to be modded into a barrel, but I haven't gotten around to that. Here's another Guanlong that was going to be used for a mod. Then here's this 3x3 that I bought my brother in order for him to learn how to solve, but he never did that, and he actually left it at home when he left for Japan. So those are those. I guess this is technically not part of my collection. Before I move on to other WCAs, here's some broken cubes. This is a Shangshao 2x2, and here's that Rubik's Ran 3x3 that I so epically smashed on camera. Now you heard me say that is pretty much all of my cubes, and that's because I put these separately just because they're teal. I put my this teal Tangpo separately, this teal Guoguan Yuxiao separately, teal Meiyu, and teal Boatron, which is actually my 5x5 main, totally separately of the other ones, just because I wanted them to stay together. So yeah. Those are the final of my end by ends. Moving on to my second favorite event behind 3x3, Megaminx. So here's the first Megaminx I ever got. It's a tiled QJ, which is pretty terrible, and got some weird shades on it and some tiles missing. But that was what, I guess, got me into Megaminx, kind of. Here's the Yoo-Hoo. This is what really got me into Megaminx. This is the first speed Megaminx that I got because it was budget and all. Yeah, pretty good. It's a little bit clunky for me now. Here we have the Diane Megaminx. This was where I started advancing a lot on Megaminx. I think I dropped probably a whole minute from when I was using the Yoo-Hoo when I got this. And it's a good Megaminx. And then I got the Shangshao Aurora Megaminx, which was another step up from the Diane just because it's so much more fluid, and the size is also really nice. And the subtle ridges I really like. Here's the Concave X-Man Galaxy Megaminx, which was kind of a flop for me just because the concave shape it's just so clunky. I don't know, it's really weird to turn, and definitely was not pleasurable to solve. And here's my current main, the flat X-Man Galaxy Megaminx. Yes, not the sculpted for once, because the sculpted one is only in stickerless, and as you can see, I have some weird shades on my Megaminx, so I can't recognize using other shades. So unfortunately, I am limited to this. But the flat version is actually still really nice, and I don't lose grip as much as I thought I would. And now moving on to Pyraminx. Let's start with the Shangshao Pyraminx. This is the first one I got. I actually removed the ball bearings from this one just randomly, and it's kind of I think I modded this too. This is actually not the next thing I got, but here's the Diane Pyraminx without ball bearings, and it is whack. I don't know what Daniel ever saw in this Pyraminx. Here we have the Moyu Pyraminx. This is the second Pyraminx I ever got. Actually, no, this is not the Moyu Pyraminx. I think this is the Chi Pyraminx, not the X-Men Bell, the other one. And it's alright, I guess. Here's the Moyu Megaminx, wow. Here's the Moyu Pyraminx, yes. This makes a lot more sense. Yes, still a really nice Pyraminx. And then we have my current main, the Moyu Magnetic Pyraminx, which feels very, very good. And yeah, it's just a very good Pyraminx. And before we move on, this is not WCA, but here's a 2x2 Megaminx, just for the fun of it. Pretty nice, or Kilominx rather, not 2x2 Megaminx. There's other definitions of a 2x2 Megaminx. And now, on to my favorite events, Scube and Square One. Here we have a Land that I took the ball bearings out of. Remember back in the day when this was the main for everyone on Scube? Oh my god. Yeah, those were bad. Here is the Mayu Scube. I haven't really had a chance to play around with it, but to me right now it just seems like the corner cutting is kind of eh. Other than that, it just feels like a Scube. And then here's, I guess, what I would consider my main, which is the Chi in stickerless. It's alright, it's a good Scube. And now we have Square One. Here's a old, terrible Cube Twist Square One. And then we, of course, have my main, the Chi Square One, which no cube has managed to get better than so far. Don't know why. Kicking off my non-WCA puzzles, we have 3 1x1s. Those are always fun. And next are the sticker mod / sticker puzzles / whatever. Here's one from Japan. It's from the aquarium, so there's some whales and other sea creatures on it. Here's one from back in the day, from Las Vegas. It's a Las Vegas picture cube, super cheap, and everything's like peeling on it, and it's kind of gross. Here we have a Tetris cube from you-know-who, the Rubik's Cube. Great sticker modder, great sticker mod. It's just a really fun puzzle, and he did a really nice job on it. Here we have this little 2x2. I mean, it's mostly not a sticker mod, but there are 2 faces with stickers, so I'm just gonna call it that. They have bunnies on it, because I got this from the Bunny Island in Japan. And finally, we have my sticker modification, which is a logo cube. So the way you solve this, it's kind of like a Sudoku cube. You have to have one of each logo on either side, but it's all the same order on every side. And the other solve position is if you were to solve this like a normal 3x3. Next we have 3x3 shape mods, and I have a lot of these. So let's kick it off with the classic Fisher cube. This is from YJ. The Axis cube, I believe I got this from Diansheng. Really nice cube, actually. It turns pretty well. Here's a Diansheng blade, also an interesting cube. Cool shape mod. And then we have the Shangshao Master Morphinx. Turns super well. I think probably one of the better turning of my shape mods. Next we have this here, I forgot what it's called, but it's a cool shape mod, something hexagonal prism thing, I don't know. But it's actually pretty fun to solve. Here we have a YJ windmill cube. I've actually never really solved this much. Next we have a concave cube. This is pretty straightforward shape mod. Another Fisher cube, this one is from YJ, turns way better. This one's another one from YJ, but it turns way better because it's a Guanlong design this time. Here we have the Crazy Yilang. Probably still one of my favorite 3x3 shape mods. I just think it looks so cool. Next we have some more variations on 3x3s. Here's a Mirror Blocks. Of course the classic, my first shape mod. Rubik's Void Cube. The regular turning is okay, but of course there's like no corner cutting, so whatever. And then here's a 2x2 shape mod, which is the 2x2 Mirror Blocks. Next we have my mods. So here we have a Siamese Cube, which is a Shangshao Aurora 3x3 fused with a Rubik's brand 3x3. Next we have my first ever shape mod, which is the Cutter Cube. A lot of people do this as their first shape mod. Some people for some reason thought that I invented the Cutter Cube. I did not. The name, I didn't name it. I don't know, for some reason people thought that I thought that this was original, but it's not. I know it's not. I got the idea from somewhere. But yeah, pretty cool puzzle. It's made out of an Oolong V2 actually. Oh, actually, I think the first thing I did was this right here, which is an interesting cube. It's the core of a Dian 2x2. I took off all the caps off a Dian 2x2 one day and noticed that it looked like this inside, so I was like, hey, why not sticker it up and make it a 3x3? I had to cut off the alignment mechanism on the inside, and it turns alright. It's an interesting cube, and it looks kind of funny. So then we have my half truncated cube, which is my proudest mod because it's the one I did the best job on, I think. Could have done a better job because I forgot that Guanlongs have caps on the corners, so I should have glued those down because these corners started getting a bit messed up. But other than that, it's a nice mod, and I like the way it turned out, and yeah. And finally we have my 2x2 Slim modification. Pretty simple mod. It's where you take a bunch of keychain 2x2s and then basically combine them and glue extensions onto one 2x2, and it turns into this. Pretty nice cube actually. Moving on, finally, the last shape mod is a ghost cube. This one is actually from Efforts. Really nice ghost cube. I like it a lot. And yeah, it's cuboid time! So we start with the arbitrary cuboids that are basically nothing. Here's a Lego 1x1x2. Ooh. Kind of funny. Technically I count these as puzzles just because they are able to be scrambled and they have a solved state. So technically they're puzzles even though they're very trivial ones. And yeah, here's the boob cube. Next we have some more trivial ones. Here's a 1x1x3, which is actually off of a Rubik's pen, and I re-stickered it and cut a hole out for this thing on the white side, but yeah. I actually re-stickered the cap of a Rubik's pen just to make myself an actual 1x1x3. And then here is a 2x2x1. Kind of fun puzzle to have around. Moving on to the less trivial ones, here's a 2x2x3. Kind of fun to solve. It's a very simple cuboid, but one of those ones that you could get into cuboids with. Then we have the Rubik's 2x2x4. Anyway, yes, we have the Rubik's 2x2x4. It actually turns decently. I think I lubricated it. But yeah, it's an alright cube. I haven't solved it in a long time, actually. We have a 1x1x3. This is a floppy cube. Not as terrible of a one that Daniel has, but it's still a floppy cube. It's super floppy, actually, so it does that. And pretty cool. We have, I believe this was my first cuboid. It's 3x3x2. Very good starter cuboid. Definitely would recommend this if you're just getting started on solving cuboids. We have this X3 or something? I don't know. X cube, I think. Yeah, just X cube that I got for free at Nationals because they had extras and they just started handing them out for free. So that's cool. We have this 3x3x5. This was one of my favorite cuboids and still is one of my favorite cuboids. Great cube. And then here's the 3x3x9. This cuboid is really complicated to solve, actually. And finally, we have my miscellaneous other cubes. So, we'll start with this helicopter cube. Alright, not bad. We have a the Moyu Wheel of Time, which is just like a 3x3 with 5x5 centers that you can turn, like this. We have a gear shift, then a gear cube. It's like a knockoff one. And then here we have a Marusenko sphere, which is pretty fun to solve, but doesn't turn that great. And then we have this, it's a Rubik snake. Pretty fun to make shapes with, actually, just keeping a ball usually. And of course, we have a Ling Ao Magic. But magic is no longer an event. But, of course, there's 2 more left. And we'll start with the Brain Cube. This is technically part of the 3x3 mods category, but I decided to keep it totally separate. And I'm not going to take it out, but you can kind of get an understanding of what it is. It's a pretty bad mechanism, but it feels kind of spongy. It's like erasers almost. And it looks really cool. I've solved it once, and I will never do it again, probably. But it's a cool novelty. Mr. Heishu Super Big 3x3. This guy is big. This guy is real big, but it's pretty cool cube. And yeah, right, of course, I also forgot the guy that I actually broke earlier in this video. Here we have the Yushin Panda 2x2, which sits on my desk proudly because it is like the greatest desk ornament ever, and I also feel really morbid while turning it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Tune in for my next video, and I'm trying to think if I forgot any puzzles last minute. I don't think so, so that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.